Bearcats ran 100 offensive plays against Memphis. That's one shy of the conference record. And we've been joined by Cincinnati coach Tommy Tuberville. The Bearcats are 2-2 overall, 0-2 in the American Athletic Conference. Cincinnati was in action this past Thursday at Memphis. Memphis won the game 53-46. Up next for the Bearcats, another Thursday night matchup as the Bearcats host Miami of Florida at Nippert Stadium. That will be a 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time start on ESPN. Coach, thank you for joining us on the call today. If you would take a minute to tie up the game against Memphis and tell us what you expect to see with a second straight Thursday night game as you take on Miami, please.
Yeah, we're excited about playing on national TV again. For us in the conference, I think it's a compliment to our league. So we're excited about the exposure. Looking forward to get back out on the field. Obviously, we'd like to take away a lot of things that we did wrong in the Memphis game. Memphis played well. They're a good football team. They're undefeated, and we continue to make mistakes. We have no excuses, coaching or playing. You are what you are, and we've just got to get better to have an opportunity to win down the road, because I just don't know how many games we can win or have a chance to win any if we continue to make turnovers for touchdowns, block field goals, missed tackles, too many opportunities in the red zone. It's just one thing that it's hard for anybody to overcome. So we just got to play better, coach better. Again, looking forward to playing Miami. We went down last year and played them in Miami, and we didn't play that well. But again, they're a talented team. Sometimes they take advantage of certain situations just with their athletic ability. They have very good athletes, and it'll be a challenge for us. But we need to get back to the field and try to improve. We can't worry about teams that we're playing. We're just a couple of plays away from being undefeated. Both games that we've lost have come down to the end, but there's no excuse. I mean, we've got to finish a game off, and hopefully we'll have that opportunity come Thursday night.
Any questions for Coach Tuberville, please? Star 1 on your telephone to join the queue. Then the operator will introduce you.
We'll go first to Joey Johnston with the Tampa Tribune.
Yeah, Tommy. Hey, Tommy. When you were at Miami, obviously it was a national powerhouse, and even after you left, a national powerhouse that always won the Big East. Since they've been in the ACC, they haven't been able to win the conference and haven't been quite to the same level nationally. Have the dynamics changed nationally, or is it just one of those things goes up and down and they haven't been able to get back on top of it?
Well, they've had so many coaching changes. When you change coaches, you set yourself back 2 to 3 years, recruiting philosophy and all those things. And unfortunately, Butch left, and then they had a couple other coaches leave, and consistency, and then they lost some momentum with problems with the NCAA. All those things gather up on you, and it really stunts your growth, so to speak. So I think they recruit pretty well. Al's done a good job of taking over a tough situation and making it a little bit better every year. They're still recruiting hard. They're recruiting good athletes. As to being in the AC, the Big East, the ACC is a better conference. They got more teams that are comparable to what Miami has at Florida State, and teams that have competed on a higher level than what happened in the Big East. So that being said, it's I've always been a Hurricane fan. Been spending almost 10 years down there as a coach. I always watch them, and I believe that they're getting back that edge of what they had a few years ago. But it's like everything else. It's hard. Everybody's recruiting the same players, and you got to build consistency. And I think just with the consistency in the coaching staff down there has really set them back, to the point where now Al took over a tough situation, but he's getting it back.
Thanks.
And we'll go next to Dan Tortora with Dan Tortora Broadcast Media.
Hey, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning.
Hayden Moore, just what you can say about, him stepping in and what he's done. 53 attempts in the last game despite the loss, set a record in the conference with 557 pass yards. Just what he's meant and how you look at it going forward.
I don't think I've ever seen a performance like that from a kid that's never played at any level, at any football team. I never looked at I'm not a stat guy, and I don't know how much he's thrown for, but, he broke our record here, and we've had some quarterbacks here that can really throw the football, and he did it in 3 quarters. And we were able to run the ball, too. So, we had close to 100 plays. Here's a kid that he looked poised. He didn't look like a redshirt freshman that had only played like 15 or 20 plays in college football. He threw the ball accurately. He didn't make every right decision, but a fifth-year senior quarterback doesn't. So I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the situation he came in. He gave us a chance to win. We just didn't take advantage of it in other situations, whether it was defense, kicking game, or even on offense, having not scoring enough points in the red zone. But he's going to be a special player for us. I mean, I like his temperament. His attitude's been great. Kids love him. He's a guy that we pulled out of Alabama that really not a lot of people recruited, but we really were, I look at 2 things. I look at being able to handle the offense that we run mentally and then being a competitor. And he is those 2. Now, he's got the arm to go with it. To some degree, he can get better. He has some points that he can really improve on. So here's a kid that's going to be around a while. I'm excited about him, and looks like he's going to have to come on a lot quicker than what we thought. But to this point, I'm even amazed as everybody else is of what the kid has done to this point.
When you're on the recruiting trail, and like you said, a guy like Hayden Moore pulling him out of Alabama and not recruited highly, do you like that opportunity and finding somebody that, isn't high on the star system, isn't doing that? Because it seems like, you know what you're going after, obviously, over history. Do you like the whole recruiting opportunities to find somebody like this, like a diamond in the rough in the case of Hayden Moore?
Well, it's hard to find one of those guys because of the internet and all the scouting services. What we look for is somebody that's going to compete in high school. Now Hayden's going to be a pretty big kid. He's getting thicker. He's gained some muscle since he's been here. But I went and watched him play on a Friday night. We were open, and I think he rushed for 200 yards. And that's what I didn't care whether he threw the ball or not. I liked the way he competed, and he'd pull the ball down and run over people trying to make plays. And this day and time, that's what you got to have at a quarterback. You got to have somebody that's not looking to, after his first year, go to the NFL. You're looking for a kid that wants to play, likes football, plays. He's tough mentally and physically. And, he was one of those guys. And I don't care if anybody else recruits him. That makes me no difference. We know what we want. It's a different recruiting style when you go after a quarterback as it is any other position, because he is a guy that turns the key to your motor, and he's got to be a competitor and wants to win at all costs, and he's going to be one of those type of kids.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll go next to Tom Gresham with the Cincinnati Enquirer.
Hey, Coach, I was wondering if you could provide an update on Gunner's medical condition, and do you expect him to play or start, and also Mike Boone?
Yeah, Mike Boone he's just an ankle. He's not as good as the other 2 kids right now with the ankle he's got. Now, he could play like he did. I think he even scored at over 100 yards in the game against Miami of Ohio. Will he practice this week? He hadn't practiced yet. He's out on the field. He's a little bit sore, but I'm to the point right now where I want running backs be 100%. And so as long as we got this position to where you've got 2 guys in front of him that can get the job done, that are good football players and they're 100%, I'm going to go with them. Now, I've told Mike, I want you to get close to 100%. Now, he might not be 100% all year because usually ankles hang around, and if he's to the point today where he feels like and I let them make the decision. But right now he'd be 3rd team if he came back because the other 2 guys are 100%. Now, Gunner, 2 weeks in a row, it's same injury. So the precaution is even going to be higher. We're more looking out more for his health. Football's way on the back burner. This one last week, it was more up to him. How do you feel? There's no damage. This week, everything was clean on everything we looked at, but he's had 2 hard blows, Okay, first week I let him make his decision. You're coming, how do you feel? If you feel good, he's strong enough, you're physically, can protect yourself, okay, let's go. That was his week. This week's my week, and I'll make the decision. Even if he comes back and says he's 100%, I'll make the decision in terms of how much he'll play, if he plays at all. But I take everything from the doctors. I don't make a decision on this. I just go from the doctor's point of view. If the doctors say he's cleared and he says he's cleared, then he's got to pass me. I've got to look him in the eye and really feel like he's ready to go. I'm not going to put him out there and get hit like that again. It's not worth it. Not worth it to anybody on our team, Hayden, his family, or us, because that's 2 weeks in a row, two pretty tough hits, and I don't want to put him in any danger whatsoever.
So are you going to wait and see what happens at practice then, or
yeah.
what?
Yeah, it's day to day, and as we speak, he ain't got to the point where he's got to me, and the doctor said he can go. He has not cleared them, so I'm not saying he's not going to play. I'm not going to say he's not going to dress out. I'm not saying he's not going to practice, but it's got to get to the point with me and Gunner where then we can talk about that. As to this point, it hadn't got to me. He hadn't passed the doctors yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Christopher Heidel with Herb FM Radio Baltimore.
Hey, Coach Tommy. Talk about Miami's two-headed monster at running back, Yerby and Watson. What do you think about those guys, and how are you going to stop them on Thursday?
I'd like to have both of them stay here when they leave. They're quick, they're fast. They're an offense within themselves, but they do a good job of their offensive line. They give them a lot of options of what they do. Wasn't any different last year. Number 2, Irby was the guy. I think he rushed for over 100 on us last year. They had one that went to the NFL. I mean, they're all clones. I don't look at numbers. I just look out there, and you can tell a little bit of difference between number 1 and 2. But it's just like you said. It's a two-headed monster. They do the same things with both of them. They can run inside. They can make you miss on the outside. They're very good on the draw play. They're excellent with screens. So that going along with a quarterback that's gotten much better. He's a very young kid last year, and then a couple of guys playing wide receiver that next year at this time will probably be in the NFL. It gives them some options. But we're excited about playing them. I thought at times last year we looked decent, but again, their running game just got to us last year, and we weren't able to keep up with them. And hopefully we've matured enough to where we play a little bit better this year.
And let's talk about Brad, the quarterback from Miami. What do you see on film? Do you see a more mature quarterback than a year ago?
Oh yeah. He's running the show a lot better. You could tell last year he was. There were some things that he was trying to get through, as all young quarterbacks do. He's got a good arm. He uses his guys. They give him a lot more responsibility in terms of the running game, the passing game, the uncovered receiver. Again, he's what you would expect on a guy that's really going into his second year. Mm-hmm. So it's there's night and day difference between him now and he was this time last year.
And one last question. Congratulations on the big win you had 2 weeks ago for your career. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck this week.
Okay.
Need time for one more for Coach Tuberville, please.
We'll go to Ronnie Woodard with the Greenville Daily Reflector.
False alarm. Actually, my exact question was asked earlier, so I'm good. No worries, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
And Coach, thank you for your time this week. Look forward to talking to you again next Monday. And that is Coach Tommy Tuberville from Cincinnati. Again, the Bearcats